Okay, good morning. As discussed in class, I said I'll bring some videos that will cover some of the topics that we'll be dealing with in computer graphics. So far, we've been able to treat lecture 1 and 2, and in lecture 3, we'll be talking about input output device. These you already know. Input and output devices you already know. And as part of the topics that needs to be treated in computer graphics, I'm briefly going to go through it and hope you will bear with me and also understand. I'm very certain you will understand it even better. Now, when we talk about input devices, they are generally hardware that is used to transfer data into the computer. So, anytime you have some sort of information or data that needs to go into the computer, the input device or the hardware itself is the one that will be able to help you to carry that information or data to the computer. Now, the data most of the time that is being sent using the input device can be in the form of a text, the form of a graphic, or in the form of a sound. So generally, most of the data that is transferred to the computer usually is in this form. Now, when we talk about input devices, we also, of course, would have to talk about output devices. So those are also um, devices that are able to display data from the memory of the computer. Of course, a typical example of an output device is the printer. So we feed in some information to the computer, and at the end of the day, we are able to print out that information or data that was fed into the computer. Now, the output that we that is presented to us can also be in this form, in the form of a text, numeric data, line, polygon, and also other objects. Other objects can also include some videos and all of that. Now, the diagram that you see over here runs us through the processes that needs to go through for an input information, input data to go through the computer to come out with an output. So generally, you will need to have an input, be it the form of scanning or whatever. So assuming we want to scan a picture, so the input will be the hard copy picture, and the input device that we're going to use will be a scanner. So the scanner will be able to scan the image or the picture that we already have, and that will in turn be saved in memory. Of course, the CPU is responsible for coordination, also for arithmetic calculations. So the inputs, the picture which is put on the scanner, which is the input device, will be processed by the CPU and it will be saved in memory. So generally, the data that we have put in here will be processed by the CPU, and at the end of the day, we'll have an output device displaying information or the results after processing. And this eventually, the results of processing into the results of the picture will be a soft copy of it on the display of the computer. And of course, that will be more readable by the human. Now, with that said, we have a whole lot of input devices, and these are some of them. We have the keyboard, the mouse, the trackball, spaceball, joystick through to image scanner. So there are lots of them. Now, the keyboard, as you already know, is one of the mostly used input device, which is also input device. Now, the data that is normally entered into the computer through the keyboard is done by pressing the set of keys. And most keyboards that have 101 total number of keys on each keyboard are normally termed as the QWERTY keyboard. And from most keyboards to It also has alphabetic as well as numeric keys. So there are also some special kinds of keys that are on keyboards. So the numeric keys usually range from 0 through to 9. The alphabetic keys also range from small a through to z in terms of lowercase, and also its uppercase. There are also some special controls that are on the keyboards. An example can be the control key, the shift key, the alt key. Apart from that, we also have some special symbols, colon through exclamation mark and all of that. There are times also that you also see the up and down arrow keys and also function keys like F1, F2 through to F9. So most of the standard keyboard have the numeric, have all these information or all these keys on them. All right. They are basically three functions of a keyboard. So alphanumeric keyboards are used in computer-aided drafting, and also keyboard are also used with special features like line, screen, coordinates, entry, menu selection, graphic functions. So in the absence of the mouse, you can also use the keyboards to do some basic functions. There are also special purpose keyboards that are also available, and these ones have some buttons, dial, and switches. So those ones add up to the standard one that we already know. And an advantage of using keyboard is most of the time it's suitable for entering numeric data. It does it at a faster pace, and also the keyboard also has some function keys that are fast and efficient method of using commands whenever we want to use a computer. And most of these commands come with less errors. One disadvantage of a keyboard is it's usually not suitable for graphic inputs. Of course, it's difficult using the keyboard to design or to come out with a graphic. The best one will probably be the use of mouse. So looking at the second one, which is the mouse. So a mouse is also a pointing device, and it's used to position a pointer on the screen. So it is a small palm, as you already know, it's a small palm device. It's a small palm size box, let me put it that way, that is normally used to point devices on the screen of our computer. So there are 2 or 3 depression switches on the mouse. So we would have the left, right click, and maybe scroll. Most of the time, these are the things that we normally see with the mouse. So of course, the mouse cannot be used to enter text, unless of course you've launched out the on-screen keyboard where you can click on those keys to use. All right, so an advantage of a mouse is the ease of use. It is very easy to use. It's also not expensive. All right, so moving on to the next one, which is the trackball. We have this is how the trackball looks like. So it's also a pointing device that is very similar to the mouse, and this is mainly used in notebook or laptop computers. There are some laptop computers that have this trackball. So this ball, most of the time, you will see it's half inserted. You will see a ball which is half inserted, and also by changing the finger or rubbing the finger around the ball or over the ball, be able to move the pointer of the mouse, the pointer of the trackball on the screen to make a selection. And of course, the trackball is also stationary, so it does not require much space to use. So once the trackball is on the on the desktop computer, you can't move it. You can only move the ball which is half inserted into its body. And of course, it's also a compact size. Now, talking about the space bar, the space ball, this one is also similar to the trackball, but it can move in about 6 different directions. So the trackball can move in 2 directions only. It can move in 6 directions, where trackball can move only in 2 directions. Alright, so the movement is recorded by the strain gauge. Alright, so an application of the trackball is to use it for 3-dimensional position of objects. So most of the time when you have an object and want to be able to a device that can help position an object in a 3D space would be the use of a space ball. It is also used to select various functions in the field of virtual reality, and is also applicable in CAD application. Animation is also one of the use. So a joystick. So this is a joystick. So a joystick is also a pointing device which is used to change cursor position on the screen. Most of you have used joysticks before, playing games and all of that. So a joystick is a stick having a spherical ball as its both lower end. So we have it over here, and upper ends as shown in the figure. So the joystick can be changed in all 4 directions. The function of a joystick is very similar to that of the mouse. It is mainly used in computer-aided designing and also playing computer games, as I already talked about. Light pen. So this is a light pen, an example of a light pen, and also similar to a pen. So this is also an example of a light pen. So it's also similar to a pen, and it's also a pointing device which is used to select a displayed menu item, or also to draw pictures on the monitor screen or on the screen. It consists of a photocell and an optical system placed in a small tube. So when a tip is moved over the monitor or the screen, the pen button is pressed, and its photocell, usually sensing elements, detects the screen location and also send the corresponding signals to the CPU. So the light pen can also be used as an input coordinate position by providing necessary arrangements. It can be used for evaluators. It can be used as a stroke input device. It can be used also as a standard pick device with many graphics system. So it has a lot certain functions. That is how the light pen looks like. Moving on to the digitizer. Now let's talk about a digitizer. This is an example of a digitizer. So I have one here where I use the light pen right here. This is called Daumo digitizer. This is it. So you can use the light pen to draw or write some information. All right. So this is a digitizer, as I was saying, and this is also its light pen. So a digitizer and a light pen. You can also see an example over here on the screen. So a digitizer is an operator input device, so which contains large smooth board. So as you saw, the appearance is also similar to a mechanical drawing board and an electronic tracking device. which can be changed over the surface to follow existing lines. Now, the electronic tracking device contains switch for the user to record the desired XY coordinates. The desired XY coordinates position. The coordinates can be used to enter. The coordinates can be entered into the computer memory or stored on an offline storage medium such as the magnetic tape. So a digitizer has basically two advantages for drawing, and also it also provides the capability of interactive graphics. And again, it also has generally two disadvantages. It's expensive and also is suitable only for applications which require high resolution graphics. So that is a digitizer. So we have the touch panel. In this one, we have the touch panel. So the touch panel is a typical. So the touch panel is a type of display screen that has a touch-sensitive, transparent panel covering the screen. So just like a computer that are touch, the computers or the laptops that we have that are touch, we have that is about it. The touch panel. So a touch panel, the touch screen registered inputs when a finger or other object comes across the screen. So we're able to scroll scroll on the screens of our computer. Voice system or voice recognition. So a voice recognition is one of the newest, most complex input techniques, which is usually used to interact with the computer. So this is what happens. The user usually inputs data by speaking into a microphone. As I am doing over here, I'm speaking into my microphone. So the simplest form of voice recognition is one word commands spoken by one person. So each command is usually isolated with pause between the words. Alright, so voice recognition is also used in some graphic workstations as input devices to accept voice commands. Alright, it also has its advantages and disadvantages. So for an advantage of a voice recognition hardware, it's more efficient. It's a more efficient device. It is also easy to use. Unauthorized speakers can be identified. People who talk who are not authorized, it's easy to identify them. Of course, it has some disadvantages too as well. It's very limited. It has a very limited vocabulary. So let's briefly talk about an output device. So it's an electromechanical device which accepts data from a computer and translates that data into a form that is understandable by the user. So the most widely used output device in this case is we have the printers and also the plotters. So these are the output devices that are widely used, the printers and the plotters. Now the printer as an output device is the most important output device, which is normally used to print data on paper. Printers can also be classified to different categories, two main categories. So under the diagram as you see here gives us a vivid description of some of the classification of printers. So printers that we see are classified into two main groups: impact printer and also non-impact printers. And under non-impact printers, we have Inject printer and also the laser jet printer. Under impact printer, we have the character printers, we have the line printers, and under line printers we have the drum printers and also the chain printers. Character printers, we have the dot matrix printers, also the daisy wheel printers. Now let's talk about the first type of impact printer under the character printers, which is the dot matrix printer. So as you can see in the slides, it's an output device. All the printers are output devices. So the dot matrix printer has its printed material always in the form of dots, as the name says. So this type of printer has a head which usually contains about 9 pins. The pins are always arranged one below the other, and based on the type of print that needs to be done, each of these pins can be activated independently. So you can have a situation where all or only the same needle are activated at a time. When a needle is activated, then the tip of the needle stay in the head. Now when a needle is not activated, then this particular needle wouldn't come out of the head, but rather will still stay in the head of the printer. So looking at the image we have over here, we have a character of A being printed by the dot matrix printer. So you can see that this portion, these white portions, its pin did not come out of the print head. Hence, it was unable to print out those sections of the character, which is the A. So all the red ones, as you can see, the pins will still remain in the print head. Now when the pin works, that is if it needs to really print, then what it does is it comes out of the print head to make to print out the character. So you can see here we have a 5x7 matrix which was used to create this character A. So from here you can also see that at these portions we had the print needle, the needle coming out of the printer, the print head, just to print these characters. So looking at this one, you have in a 9-pin printer, the pins are arranged in about 5x7 matrices, just to come out with a figure character like an A right here. Now the dot matrix printer also has some few advantages. And first advantage of the dot matrix printer is that it's able to print outputs in the form of dots, and because of that, it can print any shape of character. This allows this special type of printer to print special characters, charts, and also graph. The second advantage is because it falls under the category of an impact printer, the printer is also done when the hammer pin strikes the inked ribbon. The impressions are printed on the paper. So by placing multiple copies of carbon, multiple outputs can also be produced. So you can have lots of copies being produced at the same time. The final advantage of the dot matrix printer is it's also suitable for printing invoices in most organizations and also companies. Then the next impact printer that we'll talk about is the daisy wheel printer. So the daisy wheel printer also has its own advantages. Before that, it has a head which is lying on a wheel, and the pins corresponding to each characters are like petals of daisy. So this is how the daisy flower looks like. The daisy flower has these petals. So on the petals of the daisy flower, this is just an analogy. You would have the characters corresponding to we will have the pins which correspond to each of the characters lying at the tip of the petal. So this is how it looks like. So daisy wheel printer, this is how its look, and its print head looks just like this one. So you have these characters. You can have A, B through to Z, and also the zeros and ones all lined up around the petal-like of the head. So this, because it looks more like the daisy flower, that is what makes the printer's name daisy wheel printer. It also has some advantages and just a disadvantage. Now with the daisy wheel printer, one advantage is it's more reliable compared to the dot matrix printers. You can rely on this more than that of the dot matrix printer, which is the DMPs. And also the quality of print for the daisy wheel printer is quite high compared to that of the DMPs. The only disadvantage is whenever you use a daisy wheel printer, it takes a while, so it's quite slow when you compare it with the DMPs, which is a dot matrix printer. So what I want you to do now is to read on the second type of impact printer under the line printers, which is the drum printer and the chain printer. I want you to state its advantages and also disadvantages. This is more of an assignment which I'm not going to collect, and I will entreat each and everyone to at least read about these two type of impact printers. For the non-impact printers that we talked about in the previous slides, not the classification of printers, there were two that were available. The first one was the Inject printers and also the LaserJet printers. So let's briefly talk about the Inject printers. So these types of printers use a special ink which we normally call the electrostatic ink. The print head has also a special nozzle, and this nozzle drops ink on the paper that is going to hold the print out. So most of the time, the head of the printer usually contains about 64 nozzles. The ink dropping from the nozzle is usually deflected by the electrostatic plate, and the plate is also fixed outside the nozzle. So just like the cartridges that you will see the plates at the bottom of the print head, and the nozzles are just behind the plate. So the deflected ink eventually settles on the paper for the printout to come out. The Inject printer also has its advantages and disadvantages. The first advantage is Printouts that are produced by the Inject printer have high quality as compared to the dot matrix printer. And also the high quality output can be produced because of the presence of the 64 nozzle to aid in the printing processes. The inkjet printer can also print characters in any variety of shapes. So irrespective of the font family that needs to be printed, this type of printer is very suitable printing any type of shape of characters that is needed. So it's good at printing special characters. It is also good in the printing of graphs and also charts. Now there are two main disadvantages of the inkjet printer, and the first one is it is very slow as compared to the DMPs, which is the dot matrix printers, and also it's quite expensive compared to also the DMP printers. So the cost of an inkjet is more expensive than that of the DMPs. Now the second type of non-impact printer under the classification of printer is the laser jet printer. That is the laser printers. So these are also non-impact page printers, and they use laser light to produce the dots that would be needed to form any character that needs to be printed on a page. And because it uses laser light, hence its name, the laser printer. There are about 6 steps that needs to go through for a laser printer to come out with a print copy. So the output is generated going through all these 6 steps. So the steps have been outlined over here. Now I want you to familiarize yourself with steps that a laser jet printer goes through to come out with an output. Now we've already talked about the output devices, and the most widely used ones being the printers and also the plotters. So we've dealt with the printers. Now let's briefly talk about the plotters too as well. So a plotter is also an output device. It does the printing of huge print area or print material. Plotters are a special type of output device and is suitable for application in areas like architectural plan for building, CAD applications, computer-aided design applications, like the design of a mechanical component, probably an aircraft, and also in many engineering applications. So there are times you see these heavy billboards of stars in town and at different places. The type of output device that is used in printing these huge sheets or banners is what we call the plotter. So the plotter also has some advantages. The first one is it's able to produce high quality outputs on large sheets. It's also able to provide a high precision drawing. So irrespective of the size, plotters are able to come out with very good quality in terms of precision of any drawing that is fed into it. It can also produce graphics of various sizes. And the speed of producing maybe a banner or any of these large sheets is quite high. So it's very fast. So that is a very good advantage of the plotter. Of course, the plotter also has a type called the drum plotter. So this is how the drum plotter looks like. So it consists of a drum, as you can see here. So the paper on which design is made is kept on the drum. So the drum can rotate two directions. The plotter comprised of one or more pen and pen holders. So the holders are mounted perpendicular to the drum, and at the end of the day, the image that is given to it is able to print. We also have the flat bed plotter, and this is how the flat bed plotter looks like. It's normally used to draw complex designs, graphs, and charts. Now, generally, computer graphics, as I said, is taught in two main ways. We have the general purpose package and also the special purpose package. We are programmers, so we'll be dealing with the use of graphic libraries to create most of these 3D objects. Okay, this brings us to the end of the inputs, outputs, devices lecture 3.